Black, Asian, Minority, Ethnic Students Officer. The BAME Students Officers represent the views of students at York who self-define as BAME, which is including but not limited to students of African, Asian, Arab and Latin American heritages. They campaign within the union, university and in wider society, promoting equality for BAME students and celebrating the diversity of culture within the student body at York. They also lead the BAME Students Network and host regular social and campaigning events.
Hello, my name is Sarah and tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing Aryan and Akshaaye for the position of BAME officer. Very warm welcome to you both. First question, why are you the best candidates for the role?
Well, thank you very much for asking that question, and I'd just like to start off by saying that it's an absolute pleasure to be here at the moment. So to answer your question, I do think that we are the best candidates for this position simply because of our experience and also how much passion we share for our manifesto and how much of a change we want to make to the BAME community at University of York. And just a bit to talk about my experience, for instance, I'm an international student and back home, I spearheaded the first African Leadership Academy in my country as a chairperson. So I do think that, it's experiences like this, meeting people in those events that has encouraged me to apply for this position.
That's exceptional. Very well done for that. But in your manifesto, you are tackling a ton of different points. What's going to be your biggest challenge here? Do you think you're possibly taking on a bit much for this year?
I don't think that we're taking on too much because, first of all, we're freshers. So I think we have a bit more time on our hands than compared to second or third years. And to answer the question about what we think is the most important thing on a manifesto, I think it's the education for the teachers, because they're the ones who have the biggest influence on our careers over the Uni of York. So I feel if they have training, for example, on what to say, what not to say, what's the best thing to do in certain situations, I think that would just benefit the whole BAME community as a whole.
And are you planning to make those workshops optional or compulsory? What's the thinking behind that?
The thinking behind that is to make it compulsory because BAME is a very important issue and I feel like this should be addressed, and making it compulsory would just better the whole student experience as a whole.
You've also mentioned about really embedding yourself within the local community and giving talks in things like our local schools. Why is that important?
Well, I do think that it starts off at a very young age as to whether you want to join University of York or whether you want to just learn about problems that the BAME community faces in the UK in general. And I think that, sort of enforcing that into education and having workshops about that from a very young age can make a great difference in society in the long term as well, when these people become adults, when they become the people who make, decisions in the world. And that's why we do think that these workshops are a great idea.
Brilliant. But you're both... So how do you think that you are going to be able to represent the ideas and concerns of all BAME students? You've only been here for 1 year. Have you been able to network with other students?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. And, I think in general, we have been able to network as much as we can. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been very hard to meet people face to face. But then, I do think that on groups like WhatsApp and Instagram, we've joined many societies. Together, we're involved in over 8 societies. And, we listen to a lot of people's experience, a lot of people's opinions. And, I think that's what makes it an amazing platform for us to sort of get those ideas and share them on to other members at the university.
What would it mean to you both if you were successful in getting this position?
I think it genuinely means so much to us. We both want to make a visible impact to student life at the university, and that's just something that we both really want to do when we first signed up for this role.
So what inspired you to initially apply?
Well, I think it's just that personally, I haven't seen any problems being part of the BAME community at University of York, but I can understand for other students at the University of York who are members of the BAME community as to some of the problems they might be able to face in their next 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is. And I think that that's what's truly inspired us, just listening to their problems and sort of understanding what could be better for them.
Thank you so much for your time there and best of luck with your campaign. Next up, we have Annabelle, who is interviewing the Environment and Ethics part-time officer. Brilliant.
Environment and Ethics Officer. The Environment and